Hi, this is Jack Ma with Jack Ma Real Estate Group at Century 21 Master in Diamond Bar. Welcome to my new video. Have you heard? The real estate market is changing. Now, we've been seeing a seller's market pretty much since 2012 after the market crash. And it's been almost 20 years since we saw a market shifting into a normal market. Now, what does a normal market look like? What are some of the signs of a changing market? We'll find out today in this video. Stay tuned. Welcome back. And as always, before I forget, if you find the information in this video useful, please like this video. And depending on where you saw this video, either subscribe to my YouTube channel or like my Facebook page. And of course, if you know anyone that could benefit from the content and the information, please send it to them. Love to expand my reach as well. So, what are some of the signs of a changing market? I made a list of some things that we're seeing right now. So number one, number of home for sale is increasing and quickly. Compared to beginning of the year where the inventory is at its lowest, we're seeing about twice as many homes on the market for sale. Now it sounded like a lot, but actually it was only still about a quarter of the inventory level back in 2008. But no doubt, inventory has been increasing rapidly. Number two, buyers have more choices. Since inventory is increasing rapidly, now there are more homes listed for sales, so buyers are seeing more selection. Instead of fighting with 10 buyers on a listing, now the 10 buyer may be spread over 20 listings. So as you can see, buyer has more leverage now, and there's a lot less competition for a buyer. Number three, days on market or marketing time is extending. Same thing with the inventory increasing, so buyers have more choices and they are more selective. So we saw marketing time went from 7 to 10 days in the last couple of months to extending to now about 17 to 21 days. So 2 to 3 weeks. Number four, we're starting to see price reduction making a comeback. Price reduction is almost unheard of in the last 2 years, where everything was selling like hot potatoes and everything was getting multiple offer and bidded above the listing price. But with buyers having more selections now and buyer being more careful with what they purchase, now unless the listing is showing value, buyers gonna opt for another listing that are better value. So the one that are not sold is gonna stay on the market. If they wanna get it sold, then they need a price reduction. Number five, we're seeing a dramatic reduction in COVID buyer. What are COVID buyers? During COVID, because people can work from home or fear of COVID, people moved from cities to suburbs. And then that created a large amount of buyers that weren't planning to make a purchase before. Now with COVID easing and then people starting to get back to office, we saw these buyers exhausted. Number six, fluctuating interest rate. Now many people didn't know that, but back in 1981, June of 1981, interest rate was 21%. Even back in 2006, interest rate was about 7%. So yes, we did see interest rate went up from 3% to now 5.25%, but in greater scheme of things, interest rate still relatively low. Number seven, dramatically fewer transaction. With housing become more unaffordable and interest rate going up, less people are buying. Some were either priced out of the market, some just decided simply to take a sideline just to monitor the situation. So it is estimated, well actually the estimation of number of transaction in the United States was adjusted from 6.3 million beginning of the year to now 5.3 million. But if you really think about it, that's still a lot of houses that needs to be sold. Number eight, fewer offers. So going back to that buyers having more selection, so we're basically seeing more supply and less demand. And of course, offer received per listing is gonna reduce. And number nine, price are reducing or flattening out. Same thing with buyer getting more selections, we're seeing less multiple offer on listing. And since buyers are in no urgency to purchase, so they're no longer adding 10, 15, 20% above the market price just to get the property. Number 10, listing will expire. No longer are the days where everything sells. We almost have no listing expire in the last 2 years or so. Well, very little at least. But now, if you have a property on the market and buyers are not seeing value, they're gonna opt to purchase the property that have a better perceived value. And now, if you don't make any adjustment, different strategy, this listing is gonna expire. And number 11, for sale by owners are not selling quickly like before. So one thing we observe is compared to March of this year, where about 45% of the listing on the market will sell in a month, now that number has dropped to 25%. So not everything's selling and not everything's selling quickly. For sale by owner, a lot of time are not getting the exposure they deserve, and as a result, they're not gonna sell as quickly either. So these are the things, a couple of things we're seeing in the market right now when we're in the midst of a market changing. And we're actually heading towards the first normal market we have seen in almost 20 years, since beginning of 2000s. Now, market is still moving. There are still people needing to buy and sell. Market is not gonna crash. And it's an interesting market. And if you have any question about where the market is going, what we're gonna see, and even anything about the real estate, just feel free to reach out anytime. Love to answer any question you have. Love to have a good chat with you, and I'm always here to help. Thank you, and look forward to talking to you soon. Bye bye.